Former President Donald Trump says he's ready to go to war with big tech, suing Facebook, Twitter, and Google for banning him after the January 6th insurrection.
Everything's a war. With me, life is a war. And yeah, we're prepared, and somebody had to do it. I made a big speech in Florida the other day. We had 48,000 people, and the people are screaming, when are you going to sue social media, big tech? Everybody's wanted me to do this. They're bad. They're bad people, and they're doing bad things, and they're really hurting our nation. They may be in the process of destroying our nation. We're not going to let that happen.
They're going to want to take a deposition from you. You're going to sit for a deposition?
Sure. I mean, I look forward to it, actually. I love talking about the election fraud because it was the most fraudulent election. Well, I think we've had a lot of them, frankly, but the most fraudulent election in the history of our country. People know it.
Joining me now is former Nixon White House counsel and CNN contributor John Dean. John, you just listened to the former president there say he would love to sit for a deposition, but you believe Trump has just set a massive legal trap for himself. Tell us about that.
Well, he should know all the lawsuits he's brought, even though he's not an attorney, that when you're a plaintiff, you voluntarily put yourself in play for a deposition. So that's why obviously that question was asked. And he's always said, I'm willing to give a deposition, just like he's always said, I'm going to turn over my tax returns when the audit's finished. He'll have an excuse for this. So I think what the big tech should do is just not move to dismiss will be the normal move, but rather engage him, because he's going to lose on the merits, seriously lose on the merits.
Right, and at the press conference, you know, they had said that anyone who wants to join this lawsuit should go to this website, takeonbigtech.com or something like that. But when you go to the website, it's pretty much just a page to donate money and doesn't offer a clear way to sign up for the suit. I guess the website could say just send me money.com. It sounds like, again, part of this continuing Trump grift, never ending.
It certainly does, because I'm a little bit surprised at the lawyer who's representing him, because he's actually been on both sides politically, and he's certainly savvy enough. While he doesn't have a record in this type of lawsuit, one doesn't have to look very far to understand these First Amendment cases just go down. They went down against newspapers when people wanted to get forced to have their own op-ed in to respond to something that was in the paper. And the same happens with a private organization that runs a social media platform. The First Amendment does not apply. It applies to the government, not to private organizations. So I'm a little surprised the suit was even filed.
And what would you ask former President Trump in a deposition, John? What would be top of mind for you if you were there standing toe-to-toe or going toe-to-toe with the former president? I mean, I think I would want to ask him about what was happening inside the Oval Office on January 6th, but I'm curious what you think.
I would pay to do that deposition. I think a lot of attorneys would. Of course, you'd go right into the January 6th, who he was talking to, what he was talking about. He'll lie. He's a very good liar. We know that. But I think if you start drawing in some of the papers and facts that are now appearing, he's going to have more trouble with it. It could be a dandy deposition. I think you could sell tickets for it and do quite well.
Yeah, he always talked about how he wanted to talk to Robert Mueller, though, and we never really got around to that. But, John, let me ask you this. This isn't happening in a vacuum. The Trump Organization's chief financial officer, Alan Weisselberg, was recently indicted for tax fraud. And in the indictment, prosecutors made some not-so-subtle references to Weisselberg's family, the Mercedes-Benz for his wife, the apartment for his son, tuition for his grandchildren. Does this send kind of a message from the prosecution that you know, cooperate or everything you love is fair game? We're going to take away all your goodies?
It certainly does. It's a speaking indictment. It is very clear what it's saying, that we have a lot of information. We've gone back at least 15, if not more years. We know what you've been doing. We know what the Trump Organization has been doing. We know it's been a massive fraud scheme. You're too sophisticated an accountant or bookkeeper to not understand what was going on, and it's widespread. And there are also hints that other people might flip in there and even cause you problems if you don't flip. So I think the message is very clear. Mr. Weisselberg, I don't think is a Gordon Liddy type who wants to be a masochist and spend his retirement in jail. So we'll see how this plays out. I think they may put more pressure. They may indict his wife. They may indict his son. And then he'll have some serious thought to have to consider what he's going to do.
I was going to ask you, because is this the kind of pressure that you think that will force Eiselberg to flip against Trump, or do you think that they may raise the temperature further in the days and weeks to come?
We don't know. It's a very strong case as is, with 15 counts. He could be facing serious jail time. Juries do not like rich guys who skim and get benefits. So it's not a winning case to go to trial on. I don't know what his plan is at this point. I know that his attorneys did not appear at the press conference following the indictment while the Trump Organization lawyers did. That told me that they're keeping the door open and they're still talking. So I think we don't know the full story, obviously, but it looks to me like there may be conversations going on.